Hey everybody, sorry I can't be at PLC today. The flu has struck my house and I am at home with a sick kiddo. But I did want to get you started and help you make this a great PLC today. Our focus today is going to be on our tip strategies number 2 and 3 and our commitments number 1 and 2. So if you look over near the sign-in sheet, you're going to see our Campus UO, and those first two bubbles are our focus today. So our learning intention for today is that we're going to utilize data to make informed instructional decisions. Let's get started. You should have, when you came in, done a do now. For 4th grade, I'd like you guys to review the UO feedback from Raise Up Texas. You can find these forms on my desk near my computer screen. They look like this, and they are filled in for the 4th grade math teachers. Letty from Raise Up was kind enough to fill in some feedback for you guys, so please feel free to take the copy that has your name circled and review that feedback. For everybody else, your due now was to look at your student talk thermometers. I am hoping those got laminated and are sitting on my table. They are large thermometers, and if they are laminated and ready, then find yourself a dry erase marker on my board, and you're going to record the following information on the thermometer. For kinder and 1st grade, we do not have enough data yet to fill yours in, so just set an initial goal. For 2nd grade, you are currently at 60% student talk. For 3rd grade, you are at 62%. 4th grade, 53%. And 5th grade, 70%. Once again, those numbers for 2nd grade is 60%. 3rd grade is 62%. 4th grade is 53%. And 5th grade is 70%. I'm going to try to get into classrooms in kindergarten and 1st grade very soon so that we can get those numbers tracked. But please take a minute as a team to use a dry erase marker, fill in where you're currently at, and then you can also use a sticky note and write on there what your goal is going to be to achieve within the next month. So team leaders, go ahead and pause the video if you guys haven't taken care of that yet, and give yourselves just a couple minutes to fill in your grade level thermometer. All right, welcome back. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to commit to a norm focus today. These are posted on the wall, but just to remind us that our norms are to be present and ready to learn, take care of your needs, and that includes the restroom, assume positive intent, and have professional use of technology. Take just a moment and somewhere on your agenda, write down which norm you're going to focus on today. All right. Turn to your neighbor, let them know which norm that's going to be. All right, guys, moving on. The next thing that we're going to do today is we're going to check out STEM Scopes. In order to access STEM Scopes, you're going to go to stemscopes.com. And if you haven't changed your password, then your username is your first name dot last name, like holly.reed. And your password is wildcat1 with a capital W. Once you're in STEM Scopes, there's a couple of different areas that I want you to explore. You can explore all these areas by going to your grade, clicking on a unit, or a TEK. So for instance, I'm going to pick on 5.5A for 5th grade. When you click on this, your agenda lists several things to explore. One is the English-Spanish feature that is on all these elements. If I'm in any of these different things, you can see, let me get to a student one. You can see an option to switch it to Spanish. And so down here at the bottom, for instance, on this one. So I just wanted to point out that feature for my dual language teachers. A couple more things that I want you to explore are the unwrapped and released test questions. So if you are within your essentials, you can go down here to standards unwrapped, and it really breaks down your standards for you into the verbs and the nouns and the implications. And then down at the bottom, it's got star release questions. Another thing I'd like to point out is on the Explore tab, there are setup videos. So if you're wanting to do a lab and you're kind of nervous about how it's going to go, it actually has a video that walks you through how to set up each lab. Under Explain, there's a great thing called Picture Vocabulary, and this is a great way to have some visuals for your students. Some of these are pictures and some of them are actually videos, so they're pretty cool. Another thing I wanted to point out to you, underneath the Explain was linking literacy, so you've got a link to reading here. Under Elaborate, there's another cross-curricular link where you can get to some reading extensions and some math connections. So take a few minutes as a team. Remember, you've got this feature that you can switch from English to Spanish up here in the top right corner. Take a few minutes and explore STEM scopes. I'd like you to, as you explore, pick one way that your team can use this next week. Write that on a sticky note and put it on my whiteboard. So just label it STEM Scopes, 5th grade, and what you're going to do with it next week. Again, if you don't have your login, it should be first name dot last name, and if you haven't changed your password, it's Wildcat1 with capital W. So teams, please take just a few minutes to explore this and write down how you're going to use it next week. Team leaders, feel free to pause here if you'd like. All right, the next thing on our agenda is the main thing for today, and that is middle of the year screening data digs. So this is just like we did it at the beginning of the year, except you're going to utilize several pieces of data. As you can see here, you're going to utilize your Star Renaissance Math, your DRA or EDL. For kindergarten, you've also got ESGI and ISIP reading. That's the iStation reading test. You're going to use all that information along with this chart. This is also posted on the bulletin board by my desk if you want to look at it on paper. This is the Elgin ISD expected reading levels, so this is your easy way to tell if students are on level for DRA. So you're going to utilize your data along with this information, and you're going to do just like we did at the beginning of the year. You're going to go through, identify students that are 2 years or more behind. Then you'll identify students that are in special programs. I've given you a handy code that you can use right here. You can find this information on Gradebook. If you're having trouble, call down to Renee in the front office and ask about a specific student. Once you've got all your information together about who's behind, who's got special programs, then you're ready to start filling out the RTI concerns list. This is actually stapled to your agenda. And this is exactly what we did at the beginning of the year. It's got several categories. This is for students that are currently receiving RTI and they need to continue. In other words, they're making progress, but they're still behind. We want to continue doing what we're doing. This is for a student that needs a new or increased intervention. So a student either is not in RTI Tier 2 or above, or is in RTI Tier 2 and really needs more. If you have those concerns, then that student's going to get a form filled out. It is linked right here. It's the middle of the year NES 2018-2019 student RTI concern form. It is not lengthy. It will not take you very long. The next category is decrease. So students made significant progress between the beginning of the year and now, and you feel like they need to be moved down a tier. What you need to do is email me and include data as to why this decision is something you think needs to be made. The last one is contact. So if you've got a student who is in dyslexia, 504, or special ed, you'll contact their case manager if you have concerns about their progress. So again, the idea here is you identify your students that are 2 or more years behind, and then you determine which category they fit in, and you make a list. Basically, you're making a to-do list for yourself, and the top of these columns tells you what you're going to do for each category. That's your big task for today during PLC time. The next thing that you'll need to do if you're a kindergarten or first grade teacher is, just like we did at the beginning of the year, you're going to utilize the data from DRA to determine if a student is on level, behind, or above level, and what's holding them back. In other words, is it comprehension, decoding, or fluency? And you're going to move their magnetic cards. There's a purple fabric bin on the shelf by my door that has extra supplies for this and all the stickers you need to do coding. Very last thing is action items. So team leaders, please point these out to your team. They do need to get done today. There's some deadlines on there as far as when things need to happen. If you have any questions, guys, don't hesitate to shoot me an email or a text message. Thank you for pulling through and getting this important PLC done, even without me there. Have a great day.